Yo, what is going on, Twintendo Nation? James here. Today I've got another speculation video for you guys. I haven't done one in a while, but pretty much my speculation videos in the past have been very successful. As you guys might know, I predicted Ruby and Sapphire remakes 3 months before they were announced, so yeah, I think why not? Why don't I do another one? So today guys, I'm going to be talking about the future of Primal Evolutions. Will they be in the next Pokemon games? Do they have a future? If we compare them to Mega Evolutions, we know they're here to stay, but are Primal Evolutions. So I'm going to talk about facts and figures and have a general answer at the end of this video. So guys, first of all, I'm going to talk about the 2 Primal Pokemon that we only know about, Primal Groudon and Kyogre. Now, to me, it seems like this is the main selling point for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, apart from being just an awesome HD remake. But basically, it's kind of like a Mega Evolution, I guess, Primal. Just to say, a Mega Evolution, obviously, it's kind of like it puts these Pokemon on kind of legendary standards. It's normally a base stat increase of 100 exactly, and it's given to Pokemon that need it, say like Mawile, Absol, and it's given to Pokemon like Garchomp who don't need it. And then a Mega Garchomp's base stats is 700, guys, which is insane. Whereas, say, Mega Absol's 565, still good, but Garchomp didn't need one, let's be honest. But yeah, guys, Groudon and Kyogre, well, the Primal versions, how do they differ from Mega Evolutions? Well, for a start, there's not a big change in kind of like the looks of them. It's more of they grow in size, and I'm guessing that's because of the Primal Energy, or whatever you want to call it, and they just get kind of markings on them. There isn't really like too much change at the looks of them, but stats wise we still don't know the stat increase. I'm gonna say it's around the same. It's either gonna be at least plus 100, maybe a bit more. They're gonna be so overpowered, but yeah, they look pretty decent. There's not really much difference between them and Mega Evolutions, and that's what I want to get onto later in the video. So you're probably wondering, Groudon and Kyogre getting Primal Evolutions, well, why didn't Rayquaza? Well, that's a great point. I actually thought Rayquaza was going to get a Primal Evolution. I still don't know how it didn't, but it did say Rayquaza holds the secret to why Pokemon Mega Evolve, which I don't know if that's just to hype us up and then it actually isn't really, directly related to Mega Evolutions, but hopefully it's something decent. I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. So that's probably the reason why it wasn't given a Primal Evolution, because they wanted to use a legendary Pokemon to kind of hold this story together. Still disappointed it wasn't Primal, but you know what, it looks okay, Mega Rayquaza. It's probably going to be as powerful, it's just called Mega instead of Primal, I guess. Will we see any future Primal Evolutions? Now that's a big question, guys. This is what this whole video is about, and I'm not going to say yes or no yet. I'm just going to give you what I know and what I think is going to happen. So let's talk about Diamond and Pearl remakes, and I know that's a stupid thing to say because that's years and years away, because we haven't even got Ruby and Sapphire remakes technically yet, because they come out next month. But Dialga had a Primal Evolution before any other Pokemon. Most of you guys might not know that. If you've ever played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time, Darkness, and I never played Sky, but I'm guessing it's got that in as well. There's Primal Dialga, and oh my god, it is the coolest legendary ever. Once you go Primal Dialga, you don't go back. It looks awesome. Again, like the Primal Evolutions we have with Groudon and Kyogre, doesn't look that different, so there's a little hint. And I always wanted it to be in the game. I thought, ooh, can they get like, I don't know, like not DLC, but is there any way to get Primal Dialga in future games? And sadly there hasn't been yet, so I'm thinking, will they do Primal Evolutions for Dialga and Palkia? Because obviously they've done Primal in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon 2. Never saw Primal Palkia though. That's one key thing, guys, missing from that equation. But who knows? They might even do like a new kind of Mega Evolution spin-off entirely. Could be related to time and space. Might be like Temporal Dialga or Spatial Palkia. I know that sounds stupid, but you never know. Who knows what it's going to be called? Because it's years and years away, guys. The second type of Pokemon that I've seen some people mention that could get Primal Evolutions is Fossil Pokemon. Now, that's a cool idea. They're old, like Groudon and Kyogre. It would make sense, however, there are a few flaws with this. First, look at Aerodactyl. That's a fossil Pokemon, but it's got a Mega Evolution, so, would that be fair to give all the other Primal Evolutions? It wouldn't really make sense if there's just one Mega Fossil and the rest are Primal Evolution, so I'm going to say no to that theory. Although it does make sense, they're old and they could have been around at the same time when Groudon and Kyogre got their primal powers, but I've just got to say no to that theory. Another interesting one is Volcanion. If you look at Diancie, gets a Mega Evolution, that's fine. Bit surprised at first, but it makes sense, I guess. Hooper gets a new form. I'm not sure if you guys knew about that, but a bit spoilers. It has a new form. Thought it was a Mega Evolution at first, but it's actually a new form. So does that leave Volcanion with nothing? It could either get a Mega Evolution, guys, which would be a bit weird if Hooper didn't. So Volcanion could get a Mega Evolution. Would that be pretty weird if Hooper was the only 1 out of 3 event legendaries not to get a Mega Evolution? It could get a new form like Hooper did, which again is a bit weird because why is Diancie the only Mega? It could get nothing, which is a high chance. I've heard Volcanion's stats are very good, so it might not need anything. Or guys, let's just put it into perspective, it could get a Primal Evolution, because why not? If, Diancie gets a Mega Evolution, Hooper gets an alternative form, Volcanion gets a Primal Evolution. Yeah, the chances are slim, guys, but who knows what Game Freak are planning. It's a possibility, you can't really deny it. But again, it's a couple of years away before we find out, and obviously, it's probably not going to happen, but just, you never know, And the last Pokemon I want to talk about is probably the most forgettable Pokemon, or forgettable legendaries of all time, Zygarde. Zygarde was the most underwhelming legendary I've ever faced. Normally, you look at all the past Pokemon games and you're like, oh my god, the third kind of legendary was amazing. And then Zygarde, who looked awesome and then was just completely useless. Weak, didn't do much, attack. And there has been speculation it's going to get new forms because there's these 2 new moves that were discovered in the code of X and Y that haven't been given to any Pokemon. And guess what? They're ground moves, just like Zygarde is Dragon and Ground. So you never know. Could that be given if, for example, Groudon and Kyogre get special moves when they Primal Evolve? Zygarde might, get both those moves when it Primal Evolves, who knows? So it's a possibility, guys. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying Zygarde will even get a Mega Evolution, might just get 2 different forms for each move, but who knows? So guys, that is my opinion on Primal Evolution. Do I think it's going to appear in future games? Who knows really? I'm going to say yes. I think Dialga, with its past, should get a Primal Evolution, just because it was in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon 2. They can just use that. I know a lot of fans will be happy to get that because it's one of the most memorable Pokemon experiences I've ever had versing Primal Dialga. And I know a lot of you who've played it, Mystery Dungeon 2, will probably feel the same way. With Palkia, that is the only question. Will Palkia get Primal Evolution? Who knows? But hopefully we do see Primal Evolutions in the future because it'd just be wasted on just Groudon and Kyogre. But that's my thoughts, guys. What do you think? Leave a comment down below if you think Primal Evolutions will return in future Pokemon games. And with all this work, guys, going into Primal Evolutions, leave this video a like, it really helps the channel out. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button, guys. We've got tons of Pokemon giveaways and other related videos on our channel, so you might want to check them out. And yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. Have an awesome day as usual, and we will see you on our next video.